Greetings, hard and heavy music fans, and welcome to
Good one, Donte. Hell of an intro.
I know. All right. Once again, hard and heavy music fans, and welcome to episode 10 of the Heavy Haystack Podcast. A podcast about all things heavy music for music fans like you. I'm your host, what?
You might pull that off the table there.
All right, I'm going to put that right back there. Okay. And continuing back with this intro.
Classic.
I almost knocked our audio interface off of the little mini pottery plant table that I have it sitting on right now.
Yeah, moms have a lot of these tables.
Anyway, I was saying this is episode 10, and this is a very special episode that we have going for y'all today. David, Mr. David Andrew Langley is back here with me again. Say hello, David.
Well, hello. I had to already kind of interject it here. Yeah, this is like 2 years in the making, almost. It seems like, I don't know if it's been 2 years, but it seems like it's been fucking forever.
Yeah, this is a very special album ranking episode where we will be ranking our top 5 albums from a certain band. Basically, it's talking about our connection with the band, to saying what the top 5 for each of us shall be, and essentially debating the differences from there, pretty much.
Yeah, and then, I mean, this is a universally liked band, so everything should be positive after my first episode of shit on everything we talked about.
But we did about Sleep Token.
Yeah, right. Who fucking Imagine Dragons is the tits. But it's one of the, well, I don't know. I guess we didn't even talk that much about them. I went on the fucking Gojira tangent when we started talking about them. But tell the people who we're discussing today, Donte.
Well, today we're talking about a little known band that I don't know if many people in the metal world know about. A little known band called Mastodon.
Little known band named after a tiny animal.
Very tiny animal. If you're reading the episode, you already know, because I'm going to title the episode with the damn band name, so I don't know why we're playing coy. But
that's what people do, don't they?
It is what people do. It's what smart people do. But if you clicked on this episode, you probably already know who the band is. And if you clicked on this episode without knowing who the band is, kudos to you, because you're clicking on it because you're following the podcast, and that is a real cool thing.
And you're about to get 2 shitty-ass opinions under discography.
Pretty much. But just in case you don't happen to know who the hell Mastodon is, are you a Gen Z kid who just got into metal yesterday? That is very loud in the microphone opening that beer, dude. You might want to sip some of that before it spills out.
That's
like true professionals. We are drinking alcoholic beverages while we do this episode, because that's what the professionals do.
I'm eating dinner. I don't know what you're talking about.
Eating dinner. Like you drinking your bread calories there.
Not sponsored by West 6 IPA, but hey, if anybody there's listening.
Hey, like, we support local. If somebody at West 6 wants to pay for some sponsor time, we will gladly shill for you guys.
Pretty sure I've spent thousands of dollars on your product, so.
I like me some West 6 too. Big fan of the Cocoa Porter, actually. Big fan of that.
They need to can, or, well, I guess they only do cans. They need to can up that Castlewood Dark IPA. It's a beer after my childhood neighborhood, so
we take pride in our local breweries here.
See, we're asking for sponsorship now. We're bossing them around.
Anyway.
Can my beer, damn it!
But anyway, like I was saying, like, we're talking about Mastodon.
Yeah,
getting off topic already, and we're just 4 minutes into the episode. Yeah, so Mastodon is a metal band formed in Atlanta, Georgia, in the year 2000. They were one of the leading, they're still around, not were, are, one of the leading bands of the new wave of American heavy metal, known for their mixture of sludge metal, progressive metal, and hard rock into all the different styles of music that they do.
You could throw psychedelic in there.
They have a lot of psychedelic elements to them, too.
You can throw a lot in there.
They're a very multi-genre, multifaceted band.
Definitely the beauty of this particular band.
They're one of the most critically acclaimed metal bands of the 21st century. Their records have received a whole lot of awards, a whole lot of attention. They've won at least one Grammy for one of their records. I think it was on Emperor of Sand, if I remember correctly. And they really are a band that's beloved by the metal world as a whole pretty well. People have their different favorite records, different periods of the band that they like more than others, but generally they're still very well liked and respected.
That's why this episode works, though, because they have so much.
It's a good starting point for this type of series before we get into bands that we disagree on a little more and get into the nitty-gritty of starting to hate on stuff.
Yeah, so like when we came up with this concept, it was immediately like I don't know why we didn't think about it really too hard at all. We're like, let's do Mastodon first. And it just was like, yeah, let's do Mastodon first 2 years ago.
Was very like
keep harping on
that. Yeah, Mastodon was a very easy choice for both of us because they're amongst both our favorite bands. In fact, like part of this whole thing that we're going to do, besides introducing the band, which that's a good enough intro, I'd say. Y'all know who Mastodon is if you're clicking on this episode this early into the podcast history. But I'd say I'll let David go first. What is your history with the band Mastodon?
I was a wee little lad. And actually, I really fucking was, man. I was 13 the first time I saw him, and just to give a little backstory on that, when I got into the heavy music genre, I was pretty much my gateway drug was Ozzy. So when little kid me decides that I want to play music and go to heavy metal concerts and shit like that, the natural place to go in the early 2000s would be a little festival called Ozfest.
Can't go wrong with Ozfest.
And
I never got to go.
And the year I went, the mighty Mastodon was there, and they have a distinction. More beers opening. They have a distinction of being like the first band I actually got close to a stage for. I'd been to a few concerts before that where I like either had seats or like we sat up in the balcony. Like my dad took me to quite a few, but Ozfest was just very early on in my concert going life. And yeah, my dad fucking took me to Ozfest and let my 13-year-old ass just walk around and do whatever I wanted, essentially. This is the first time I was offered to smoke weed in public.
That's a nice milestone.
During their set.
Good band to do that with, too.
I had bought the CD Leviathan leading up to the concert. I didn't listen to it a whole lot. And I didn't listen to it a whole lot afterwards. It was kind of interesting, but the vision in my head that stands out and why I got kind of hooked into them, which, you know, as a bass player and vocalist, it's funny that it's not Troy Sanders. It was Ron Daler. He had the Randy Rhoads drum kit at the time, which was the polka dotted kit that had fucking Randy Rhoads.
I remember that. I remember seeing that.
Randy Rhoads on the kick drums, and again, the gateway drug into heavy music being Ozzy. So I'm looking at this new fucking thing that I've never watched before live, and they got my favorite guitar player to this day. Randy Rhoads is God, my favorite guitar player on the planet. Like, obviously gone way too soon, but those two
R.I.P. Randy Rhoads.
Not to go too much on an Ozzy tangent, but those two Ozzy records are probably two of my top 10 records of all time by far. And so, like I said, seeing a band that I could connect with just from that standpoint, I saw that drum set and I was able to be like, hell yeah. And I dug them. Like I said, I got close to the stage. I was probably like 15, 20 people back. People trying to hand me weed, mosh pits breaking out, and I'm a little kid in a parking lot trying not to die of heat stroke. Because it was hot as fuck. And fun fact, Black Sabbath had to cancel because Ozzy was sick. So my first Ozfest experience was not great from that standpoint.
First Ozfest was Oz-free.
Yeah, I saw a lot of cool bands that day, including Mastodon. But it was probably 6 months to a year later. About a year later. The Unholy Alliance tour came through Cincinnati, and I also remember this show because We were trying to get into the arena, and the most gnarly fucking thunderstorm was just rolling the fuck in, and it was like, God damn, I hope we get inside.
Thunder rolls.
And then once you were inside the arena, you could still hear the storm going on outside. But the Unholy Alliance tour was Slayer, Lamb of God, Children of Bodom, Mastodon, and a band called Thine Eyes Bleed, which was the cousin of Tom Araya.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
They didn't last very long. I don't think they put out any records except for the one they. Maybe I'm wrong, but they weren't around very long. But by the time I saw them at that show, I was already a fucking fan. So like when they were playing all the hits off of Leviathan and whatnot, I'm in my seats fucking scaring my dad from convulsing and headbanging so damn hard to the Mastodon set. Fast forward a few years later, they were playing in Lexington. Me and my sister pulled up to Buster's trying to go to a show on the Crack the Sky tour. Sold out.
Crack the sky.
First time I ever tried to go to a show in Kentucky that was sold out at the door. I was like, sack of shit. So they were already fucking ascending, like, beyond pretty much any band I was listening to at the time that was new. Because, like I said, not a lot of shit came to Lexington either. But, so there was that. And then, fast forward years later, me and you saw them at Louder in Life. So for the most part, I mean, like I said, I've been a band that I've been listening to from my very primitive days of getting into heavier music. I was very much an 80s kid when I started listening to shit. The Ozzy's, Judas Priest, and Motley Crue's of the world. So I got a 17-year history with this band and gone in and out. I ain't gonna lie. I probably dipped out for a good amount of time, and then towards the end of Theories going into Storm Tucker, I kind of got really back into it. I was always aware of what was going on. I always listened to everything that was going on, but I was not as big into them for a while. But now they've persevered time, and like I said, going back, and especially with this deep dive, it's like, man, there's so much good shit here. So it's gonna be a very positive.
Whole lot of feel good vibes on this episode involving Mastodon
for sure. And so yeah, that's about all I can say as far as background and stuff. Just being blown away by Bran Daler, honestly. Bran, how the fuck you say?
It's Bran.
Bran, see, I love him so much I say his name wrong. but yeah, I've always allowed myself to be inspired by other musicians than the instrument I play, and he's one of those guys. Standout fucking drummer, and probably the reason why I fucking got into him as much as I did early on.
That is always a good one. Like, basically, it's sort of interesting that, like, Bran Daler was the one that really got you into the band, considering that, like, you're a bassist, you would expect somebody with a good bassist, which Mastodon has a great bassist, Troy Sanders. As far as, like, it's sort of interesting, though, like, out of the band, like, he's known as a great bassist, but instrumentally, he's kind of known, like, the least for his playing out of everybody in the band. And even in interviews, he kind of, like, makes himself as the guy that's kind of, like, tries to keep everything level, where, because everyone else is just playing crazy around him, he's like, I'm gonna be the heart that keeps this train on course.
I mean, when you got that kind of you just gotta serve the songs, man.
Yeah.
And all good bassists do that.
Well,
that's why I'm terrible.
Because you have to stand down. I'm leading this charge, motherfuckers.
I'm
David Langley, motherfuckers.
Yeah, David Andrew Langley.
David Andrew Langley.
Put that full name on Facebook like a chode.
But I'd say for my like journey and like getting into Mastodon, it's really like most bands that are like notable, well known, and really with like most things in the music world and the metal world in general, I get into things late. I got into everything after it's already been well established, well known, and well like trodden. I got into them around my early 20s, I would say. Which would have been around like 2011, 2012 period, I would say. I think that when I really got into them proper, it would have been a little bit later. Would have been at least after 2014, because I think I got into them after Once More Round the Sun album was already out. And I do remember the first thing that I heard from them. I think I heard Blood and Thunder already, because if you're into metal, generally, you... at any point, like, after that came out, you probably heard that song somewhere. I don't know if I heard it from
Do you remember when the cable networks had like the on-demand music videos on
Yes,
them?
I've discovered so much through those, and might have been on those.
Blood and
actually.
Thunder was literally never not on that list of music videos.
Yeah, that's how I discovered Hatebreed. It's how I discovered In This Moment. It's how I discovered
Nile
a lot
and
of
Behemoth
stuff.
for me.
Yeah, like there was a lot of bands I discovered from when we had like the satellite cable thing. That was definitely how I got into Hatebreed for sure. I won't go on that tangent. That'll be for another episode down the line. But with I remember the first song. I remember I got into Blood and Thunder and added it till at the time, like whatever iPods or like Zunes or whatever we were using back then, pre-Spotify days, when I had like that put on a playlist somewhere. But I remember like when I first started checking out music videos of the band, I didn't realize that they were using multiple vocalists with the group. Because something I've always been a fan of bands that use multiple vocal setups. Because one of my first bands that I really got into was Linkin Park. And that was the band that really got me into the whole multi-vocal dynamic, which led to me really liking that dynamic in current band Stormtoker and any other bands that like have a multi-vocal setup.
This was a huge influence. Like we talked about it from day one. It's like, man, when we were talking about like what the fuck we were gonna do. Keep looking out for this interface. Might want to just pull the table a little closer to you there, Donte. Yeah, sorry, we're not having technical issues, but we're just trying to avoid.
We're trying to avoid
ones.
the technical issues something falling.
But fuck yeah, that was early shit. Now I done got fucking distracted. But yeah, no, that was definitely something we discussed a lot early on. It was like, man, like what do we want to do with this new band and the multi-vocal attack? We reference Mastodon so often in those early days, and still do. I mean, every time, and they've only gotten more and more interesting with how they approach that. So,
yeah, like Mastodon's definitely a common thread through the Stormtoker camp, a band that we're all like, well, influenced by and huge fans of. And part of something that got me, like I was already like drumming in a band by this point for a good while. And I've always been a fan of like strong drummers, of course, but also drummers who are vocalists as well. Was always like a big influence and thing of interest for me because I'm into a lot of bands that do that. Code Orange, Seven Dust, Atreyu, and many other bands that you have singing drummers.
which means you got into them at the perfect time.
Yes, I got into a great time because the first music video that I saw it wasn't the first album that Bron Daler, drummer from Mastodon, started singing, but it was on The Hunter for their song Dry Bone Valley. And I watched, they had a live video for it from one of their, I think it was like gone hand in hand with one of their live DVDs they were doing at the time. And they were doing a song, and Bron Daler does harmony vocals on that one while drumming. It's pretty complicated, that shit. Which was pretty impressive. And the song has like real strong hook and catchiness, and that was one that really stuck with me. I remember just going down the rabbit hole of Mastodon music videos on YouTube, like just basically like absorbing all stuff. And besides just being good musicians, have really unique and quality music videos. One of the metal bands around that actually puts some real effort into the music videos as well that around these days.
They're always really solid on that front.
Yeah.
And then just another note on, because this is actually what I was going to say before you tried to drop our damn interface again. But if you paid attention to like their records and who was guest spotting on a lot of those records, you could get into a lot of fucking fantastic bands that way, because they definitely utilize Neil Fallon from Clutch. They utilize
Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age.
and then old buddy from Neurosis,
Scott Kelly from Neurosis, who's
yeah.
sadly fallen from grace these days.
Well, you know, but I'm just saying, there was a wide web of influence that if you got into Mastodon, you all of a sudden had like a new fucking book of bands to go look into, because they did the collaboration thing pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, they were good with the collaborations, and like that was like, it was a really good gateway to a lot of stuff. Like Mastodon was a band I really got into, like, because I basically any band that mixes together like heavy riffs with like strong, hooky melodic vocals and multi-part vocal harmonies is an easy sell for me. And I got into all the music. Like I got into, like at the time, Once More Around the Sun had just freshly released when I was like really getting into them proper. And around the time that I was first started doing album reviews. Way back when I was still doing like written reviews, I remember was when Emperor of Sand came out, 2017, I believe that was, and that was that was like the first time that I was like anticipating an album that hotly for a band in a good while. Like I remember there was like 2 really pivotal moments when I was like anticipating an album and like checking it out day one. It was like that one with Emperor Sand and also Slipknot with Psychosocial. First time I ever bought a record day of release. And that was...
Sorry.
Yeah, suck on it. Like,
no, like I'm not laughing at the band. I'm just like, fuck.
All Hope Is Gone. That was the album, not the song Psychosocial was on.
I probably did that around, actually, for what it's worth, the Ozzy connection, the Black Label Society Mafia, I got the day before it came out because my dad had to hook up a CD Central.
Nice.
So, but that was 13-year-old me around that time too. And of course, another Ozfest band. And I bought a lot of Ozfest CDs around that time. So,
yeah, but that one, like I said, I'm like late to everything. Back in high school, I was still stuck in new metal and butt rock territory as far as for a lot of my musical interests. I was slow. I'm a black guy who grew up in a black household where like my sister liked Linkin Park and that was her only rock band. And my brother-in-law said that's white people music. So there was like, I wasn't exposed to a lot growing up in South Chicago originally.
See, that's what's funny. My sister would listen to like Slipknot and shit. And like my kid ass, like, appreciated what my dad and shit was into. What? Like, I don't like that screaming shit. Here we go. Fucking 24 years later, and I'm yelling into microphones at people all over the greater Kentucky area. I would say bigger area, but we're working on it.
We've been seen in other states in the region of the U.S. But yeah, that's
it's pretty much a good spot to kind of discuss what we're going to do here.
Yeah. Essentially what we're going to do here with the plan is that starting with this episode, we're going to start with David, but we'll be alternating who will go first. We're each going to be talking about our top 5 albums from the band in question, starting from our 5th album going up to our number 1 album pick for them, alternating back and forth. And we'll discuss like why that album is ranked where it is, why do we like it, and basically just go into list building up to each of our number 1s.
And on top of that, we've predicted each other's list.
Yes.
So,
which after we like go through what our lists are, we'll like see what our predictions were and how accurate they wound up.
And
being.
we've not shared this with each other, so yeah, we're not trying to tip our hat by discussing the predictions ahead of time. We'll go over that after we go through the top 5, and fuck, who knows, we might interject with it, but the idea is to go with it after the fact, and then we'll get into our omissions, why things didn't quite add up to our personal top 5s.
Yeah, what albums fell out of the top 5.
And then we're going to do what I'm just going to call it the ultimate dud of any discography that we discuss.
The ultimate dud.
Yeah, like if we have a legitimate least favorite record, we'll talk about it. And spoilers, we have one on this one. That's the only bit of negativity we're probably going to get, though. And even then, I don't think we hate the record. It's just the least goodest. Yeah.
In this episode, there's definitely going to be a stinker, multiple stinkers on future episodes for sure.
And then we're going to get a final grade on the overall discography, and then we'll find a way to archive all this shit probably somehow. Keep up with it. Like, I would say that probably as we post these episodes, probably post what we've said about other bands and just kind of keep it going.
Yeah, we'll have a history saved of these where like we see like our comparisons of stuff,
and then we'll end up we are gonna choose the next episode at the end of it. So
yes, which we're gonna like pick at the end of it. We
both picked 3 bands.
Yes, we each picked 3 bands, wrote them on a piece of paper, dropped them in a hat. We're going to shake it up, and we will pick a band for the next episode of this. And if you're following this on your like podcast hosts of choice or following us on social media, you can also drop comments for suggestions of bands that could possibly be discussed in future episodes. So with all of that said, say that we should probably get right into it with David going first with his number 5 pick for 5th favorite Mastodon album.
This one was actually the biggest surprise of my list. when it originally came out, it was kind of the point where I jumped out. As I referenced earlier, I kind of went into a lull with Mastodon. And when I'm discussing, Mastodon has distinctive eras, I think.
That is very true. They are a very diverse band with a lot of stuff.
And this kicked off the era that I would say became their hooky era.
I think I might know what this record is.
My number 5 is The Hunter.
That all right. I wasn't. That's kind of surprising, actually, for me.
Well, and I can't get into my omissions yet, but we'll discuss about this one. Man, when I listen, and honestly, it was today. I listened to a few records that were on the edge, and I was like, really trying to think about it. And this was out of my top 5 the entire time. And we've been discussing doing this episode for fucking 2 years. And so it's been on my mind, like what the fuck we're going to do and how I'm going to rank them and whatever. Never would have put this one in my top 5. I realized today I just like so many more of the songs than I ever fucking thought. And just on top of that, I just think it was a very good progression into the hooky part of their careers. I mean, the opener, fucking Black Tongue. We've been making fun of Curl the Pearl all day, but honestly, it's a catchy fucking...
Where's the curl out of the barrel?
It's a catchy-ass song. I mean, The Hunter's fucking great. Dry Bone Valley's great. I just... When I was listening to the record, I was just front to back. I was like, man, there's nothing to hate here. But at the time that it came out after... You know, Leviathan, Blood Mountain...
That was their transition period,
and Crack the Sky.
A lot of people fell off then.
Yeah, and... I just think now in retrospect and actually going back and sitting down and listening to it, I was like, man, this album just, it's fun. It's a fun ass album. And, of that era, I mean, not gonna, yeah, I was gonna say, it's hard not to try to talk about the other stuff.
Right.
So I'm gonna probably cut myself off here. But yeah, no, like I said, I had no idea that this was going to be my top 5. And I've told people for years this is my least favorite Mastodon record. Because of the reasons. Like, it was just the transition. I wasn't quite ready and into it, especially at the time that it came out, which 2011, I would have still been very much so in just heavy territory, thrash, death metal.
You would have been, 19 when this came out?
Yeah, so like I was still kind of on my heavy trajectory of like, let me listen to fucking faster, stronger, whatever, louder. And so like I said, at the time it turned me off completely, but as a almost 31-year-old dude now, it hits all my pleasure points. And I fucking, like I said, last night I was talking to my buddy Andrew, and I was like, I was kind of shitting on it. But
last night even.
But I was having a hard time with number 5. Like the rest of them I didn't really have a hard time with. Like 4 through 6 was hard for me. But this one kind of just surged at the end. I was like, man, I'm going to put it there. So there you go. Number 5, The Hunter.
Number 5, The Hunter. Dave's number 5.
What is number 5 for Senor Donte?
My number 5... It really wasn't my number 5. I actually had this album ranked higher originally when we first were talking about this, doing this type of podcast, and it was on my list. This was one that was ranked higher originally, but just similar to you, I've been doing my re-listens of the records, going through their whole discography, re-listening and stuff, and this one dropped a few spaces, not necessarily because of this. I felt any less about this one. But more so I just felt stronger about like other records as I got around to like re-listening to some other ones. But my number 5 Mastodon record is their official studio debut, Remission. With Remission, this is an album that it's kind of like a good showing of like why Mastodon got so popular so quickly. Because it's definitely the right type of debut record for a band. Because it's something that hits you immediately in the face with crushing riffs, like right from the get-go. That's kind of the thing with Remission, and part of the reason why I love it so much is that it's just riff city the entire time. And especially during the era of metal during the early 2000s. This came out in 2002, and this is like the resurgence of like the new wave of American heavy metal, and basically like a lot of metal fans, younger metal fans, appreciating classic stuff, and the newer bands are inspired by classic stuff as well. And Mastodon just had a strong mixture of everything. They had the down-tuned sludginess that was popular with kids that were coming out of the new metal era, while also having the thrash edge and like kind of progressive edge that like newer bands that were getting popular at the time were also very like wieldy in. And they're also like something else about this record that I like is that like Mastodon's probably one of my favorite bands for naming songs. Because
Mother Puncher,
like they have the best song names of any band I know of, hands down. Crusher Destroyer is the opening track on this fucking album. Fucking like Crusher Destroyer, March of the Fire Ants, Workhorse, fucking Trampled Underhoof. it's just like titles that you'll fucking metal, brother.
Yeah.
Like and it's
it's by far their heaviest output.
yes, and then to have the riffs and songs and aggression on this record, the match. It's one that you don't really need to. This is probably the only Mastodon record I would say where you don't have to do re-listens to really get into it proper. It's where like the riffs hit you so immediately if you're a fan of heavy music that it's just gonna grab you from the get-go. And I think
I remember texting the group chat or somebody at one point, and I was like, God damn, this motherfucker just riffs front to back.
Yes.
And I mean that's by far. I mean that's the most endearing part. It just fucking riffs.
If you just love like strong metal riffs, this album has it in spades. And the fact that this is like what they came out the gate with is so ridiculous that this is like their first taste they gave to the world. Really,
yeah. Like I said, no fucking secret as to why it worked.
Yeah, it was just a great like first strike that the band had like onto the metal world. And also with they didn't have this was before they were like getting into concepts proper, but they did have a little bit of their concept record thing going with. They said that this has like a theme of fire and a lot of like animal themes with it too. They had like the whole like horse on the cover, and there was a lot about like being killed by animals was the common theme on this record.
It was the Donkey Show record.
The Donkey Show record. I don't think that's a proper.
Let me get a mule job.
A mule job, Jesus Christ. Yeah, like Remission, this is a real strong first outing. I had this higher because of the immediacy of this album, but there was things I appreciate about it, some other records more, which we will get into when we get to those selections, I would say. But yeah, Remission is my number 5 Mastodon record. David, what is your number 4?
Cuatro. So again, as I was saying, I struggle with 4 through 6. And actually, when I was talking about getting out of Mastodon, it was kind of happening already. And that kind of spoils what I'm going into here. The great fucking super long 7-song fucking epic that is Crack the Sky.
That is, I'm kind of surprised that just to say, like, so far our predictions are shit. Just when that.
Oh yeah, no, my number 5 wasn't. Yeah, I am not right so far. But Crack the Sky. So this is the record that I would have seen them live in Lexington if we were able to get into the fucking venue. And I don't know if I just got jaded and just
I couldn't see this album.
Well, dude, I mean that's something that'll hook you. I've definitely 100% been like unsure of a lot of things, and then I see it live, and I'm just I'm enamored by it. At the time, hard for me to say at the time, just because it was so damn long ago. But yeah, I guess I just never gave it the true attention that I wanted to, because I remember listening to fucking The Hunter and being like, and not fucking liking it. This record, I just kind of feel like I went back much later. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't like to say I skipped it, but like the singles didn't grab me necessarily a whole lot at the time.
Right.
But, when I go back and listen to it, and I think the title track's the standout for me. Yeah, Crack the Sky is my favorite. I think first single was probably Divinations.
I think Oblivion was the first single.
All right. Either way, I just was not grabbed at this record immediately. But for 7 songs at 50 fucking minutes, which makes us look kind of amateur. Because, I mean, our last album was, what, 7 at 46, 45?
Something like that.
So maybe just at the time my attention span wasn't there. I mean, I like I said, I'm just trying to.
It's definitely a much more mature record.
I'm trying some patience. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck was my issue then. But man, when I listened to it here recently, there's no lull. There's no, you're not sitting there waiting for anything. Like those 7 songs flow so perfectly. It's a top-notch fucking record. And like I said, for me, it really hits a high point at Crack the Sky. I think it builds all the way up to that point. And the last Baron's really good too. Like I said, it's hard for me to say that much on it because I put it there on this recent listen and like I've gotten more into this record recently. But for whatever reason at the time, I just, like I said, and I think part of it might have just been not able to see it. And like I said, whether I was jaded then or not, I don't know. But like I said, there's no low point on Crack the Sky. And for what their records were leading up to that point, this one was the most ambitious, I would say.
Definitely up there. A lot of drugs were taken during the making of this record, I'm sure.
Well, so it's the most ambitious to that point for sure. And I guess I wasn't ready for it. But in 2023, again, as a 31-year-old old man, 2 records that I probably wouldn't have put in my top 5 are firmly there. So, and like I said, it's a beautiful fucking piece of work. Not my favorite album art. Really good album art though. But yeah, I mean, I can't.
I want a wall flag of the album art of this.
I can't really say much more on it because, like I said, I kind of. It was definitely the recent listens that got me higher on it. But yeah, Crack the Sky is just one of the best songs in their fucking catalog, in my opinion.
Whole lot of emotion behind that if you know the backstory behind the whole deal, too.
And drop it on me because I have no idea.
Well, essentially this, of course, like with every Mastodon record, they have a, especially the early ones, they were all concept records. And with this one, this has like the craziest of all their concepts, where they both deal with the elemental theme and have a story attached to that theme. And this one was dealt with the concept of aether, essentially stuff dealing with the spiritual realm, essentially. And this whole thing has like themes like talking about like story parts with astral projection, out of body experiences, and a whole ball of like weird spacey, like druggy stuff.
Yeah, as a druggy man.
But with the song and album title specifically, Crack the Sky, Sky, you'll notice spelled Skye, and that is the name of drummer Bron Daler's sister who died when they were teenagers.
Okay.
And Bron Daler wrote a lot of the lyrics on this album, and it's basically, this whole album acts as a tribute to his sister.
Well, shit, if I probably read interviews on it and just fucking, it just lost in the database, but yeah, like I said, man, it's a hell of a piece of art. Yes. And that's how good their discography is, because we got 3 better than that. So, Donte, what is your quattro?
Well, for my quattro, this is one. My quattro is one that. This is one of the early records that I got into with Mastodon. It's I got into around the time this record was freshly released, and it's also was a weird transitional period. I've had ups and downs with it over the time. Like when I first listened to him, I was really high on it. When I first listened to it, because it was my introduction to the band, and then as I listened to the rest of their discography, it got lower in my list because I started liking their other material better. And then as I like matured and got older as well, beginning in my 30s as well, I wound up appreciating it more once again. And that is their 2011 album, The Hunter. The one that you've already mentioned earlier.
Nay, well, there you go.
With The Hunter, this record is one that for a long time, I really only liked the few singles that were on it. Of course, Dry Bone Valley, which is one of the first songs we really got into them. Curl of the Barrel, which we've been talking about, which I think was their first Grammy nomination. If I remember, no, actually, I think Oblivion was their first.
I fucking hated that song when it came out. That was the one. Like that was the one where I was just like, this fucking album's rubbish. Suck my asshole. But now I
which is very understandable.
It's so fun. It's so fun now though. Like I love it now.
I mean, that's understandable because like for a long time, Mastodon was like a metal band where they either had like real heavy tracks, and even when they did go kind of melodic, it was still proggy progressive. But like Curl the Burrow and really this whole album, The Hunters, when they started going into the strong rock territory, where they were really trying to make shorter songs that were like simpler in composition and hookier songs, which makes it a really good entryway point for new fans because like there's a lot more instantly accessible stuff here.
And pissed off us old fans.
And pissed off the old fans, which that's often what happens when
pissed
bands
off. I just like
because like really like overall fans still don't like have much hate for most of the records in their discography. But like this still starts off with like heavy riffs with Black Tongue, which has a distinctly heavy Mastodon riff, the nice dark twin guitar harmony. Yeah, because it has like Black Tongue and Curl the Barrel is this 1-2 punch, where it starts off with a track that sounds like classic Mastodon, and then Curl the Barrel, which is like, what the fuck is this stoner Rocky Queens of Stone Age bullshit? It also has like their proggy, spacey stuff too, even though it's done in shorter doses.
Get it out, Donte.
All right, I think I'm clear. I took the goddamn like any nasal whatever the hell. Anyway,
spit next time, Donte. Spit.
They have proggy songs on here still that are nice and atmospheric. That is still very appealing to classic Mastodon fans.
It's not a wiener chug for you; it's a wiener rinse.
Wiener rinse. Fuck you. All right, because it has songs like Stargasm and Blasteroid, which are very much in the spacey realm. They have songs like Thickening, which also like have the weird atmospheric tone to it.
For me to hate this record, there was no fucking lull when I listened to it. I went on a fucking fun ass ride earlier. So
it's a 53-minute album, but there's 13 songs in those 53 minutes.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
Yeah,
like when it was over, like I remember like checking my phone and it was like, oh, this is the last the Sparrow. Yeah, the Sparrow. It's like, oh shit, I'm on the last song. I had no idea because like I saw how long it was, and like I said, man, and this list has changed a lot since we've discussed this.
Oh, yeah. But they bring the hits on this one still too, and it's really I'm glad that like part of the joy of doing like re-listens like this and like retrospectives and all that is that you get to like go back and discover new things. You might feel differently about old music and old albums that you didn't like as much, but people change as they get older, and their taste and their ear for music changes as they get older as well.
And this is kind of like gun to our head because we're doing the episode.
Yeah.
Here in a month, I might hate this fucking record again.
That is possible.
But no, but generally speaking, yeah, it's just it attracts to me so much more now than it did.
I mean, art is supposed to like elicit or convey emotion, and this albums, this whole discography since we've been doing these re-listens for these recent albums, it can change like at time because like we're constantly changing as individual human beings.
And when a band's this good, this consistently, I mean, you're gonna find shit.
Yeah, and the fact that like you can have a band have so many good records where like what your favorites are can change and flip flop so much so frequently is a good sign. It makes it where like you have different music for different moods, and there's no hard set in stone order that like everybody agrees on, or even you yourself agree on, like for the entire history. But yeah, The Hunter is my number 4 favorite album of theirs. Oh, and also just want to say once again, with being best band and naming song titles, but Dazzled Fingernails is what's the title of a song on this record. Just had to put that out there. So, David, what is your number 3 Mastodon record?
So my top 3 was pretty locked in. Well, okay, I'll lie. This one was locked into my top however many. We're talking about that era right now, when they got into the hooks and when they got into the just let's be really great songwriters. And the album to me that executed that better than any of them would be the and what a wonderful fucking album cover. Once More Around the Sun.
Once More Around the Sun.
But side note, this album has the worst fucking Mastodon song in their discography.
Really?
Aunt Lisa.
You didn't? Oh, I know what part you're talking about.
Fuck that chorus.
Are you talking the chorus with the choir?
Let's fucking go.
I was re-listening to it today, and I was like, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
When I heard it.
Well, when
Hey, let's go rock and roll.
yeah, I fuck that that chorus. But the rest of this album, and even then, that's catchy. It's pleasant on the ear, but it's my least favorite Mastodon song. But otherwise, you're talking about Tread Lightly, The Motherlode, High Road, Asleep in the Deep, Ember City. Like, when you're talking about an album that, if I'm going to fucking show somebody that's not even into the genre an album by Mastodon, this is going to be the one I go to.
Good launching point. To say like,
it's so fucking catchy all the way through. And I would say, like, when we're talking about the eras, this one, with the Hunter, Once More Around the Sun, and Emperor's Sand, I'll lump them all together because they're all pretty similar in that standpoint. And like, but this one just reached a pinnacle for that, which might be a spoiler for where one of those albums ends up. But like I said, man, I've not necessarily, I didn't reject this album when it came out either. I kind of just was indifferent at first, and then like the more I listened, I was just like, man, it's undeniable. It's the best songwriting. And you're just talking song to song, just fucking hit, banger, 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 and I think it's just, as far as catchy songs, this one front to back, man, it's a fucking. Your music videos are all great.
Mastodon hitmakers.
I like ass. I like ass a lot.
The Motherlode, they were talking about the asses.
But even like the psychedelic Sleep in the Deep.
Cats. Gotta love cats.
Yeah, I mean,
Psychedelic
always.
Cats.
I mean, I do now. I was not a cat guy, but Henry Bullshit Bartholomew changed my life a little bit on that.
That's his cat's name, people.
But yeah, man, besides the ass stink that Aunt Lisa leaves on me, it was so bad. It was so bad I didn't want to believe it was on this record. But yeah, no, the worst Mastodon song of all time is on my number 3 record of Mastodon.
Which just shows you how good this record is.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how good the discography is in general. Like, I'm shitting on something super hard, and it's my third. But yeah, man, like I said, for what their career trajectory's been, man, this was almost like their perfect record. And I got 2 more to talk about. But, and I would say that my intro probably spoils those 2. But
good job, David, just giving away the goose.
Well, I'm just saying. But for where I'm at right now, like I said, that it's such a good album. And like I said, it transcends metal. Like, I could show that to anybody, I think, and they could fucking find something. So, number 3, Once More Around the Sun.
Number 3 for David is Mastodon's 2014 record, Once More Around the Sun. For me, my number 3, this was the record that, this is one I talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast, where it was like first one that I was anticipating. This was the first record that was new to me, where I was already a fan of the band, and this was the first record I got to be part of the hype coming out on. Like, I watched all the YouTube documentary videos talking about the record. I watched like the little song teasers they had coming out of it, and my hype was built up, and the band did not disappoint once the album fully dropped. And that is their 2017 album, Emperor of Sand. This record is really a strong one. It's in their discography. This is one of their most recent records. It's the album that came out before the most recent one. And really, I felt like this was just like the band kind of like gelling into their modern era, essentially. They got into their modern era where like they figured out this whole like songwriting thing, like David mentioned before with Once We're Around the Sun, where they were getting like more focused on becoming strong songwriters. And with Emperor Sand, like I thought with this one, they kind of like were leaning into that more, and they were still taking risk at this time. For example, like with on this record, one of the singles that was released on this is their song "Show Yourself." It's the first song that I personally heard on broadcast radio from Mastodon that I've heard before.
Such a phenomenal song.
Yeah, it was really catchy. It was like one of my favorites when I first heard it. Like I knew that like I liked it when I first heard it, but I saw a little bit of backlash from fans at first because they thought that it was a little bit too poppy and radio friendly. But it's probably the most straightforward song they have in their whole discography, possibly.
Which again, when you're a band that's this phenomenal, it's almost like a feat to write something that straightforward. You know, like
yeah.
Like I said, I love that song immensely.
Yeah, like Tracy, and also mention like it sounds very Queens of the Stone Age-esque, but I'm a fan of Queens of the Stone Age, and hearing a Mastodon rendition of something that Queens of the Stone Age would do sounds great. And really shows Bron Daly's confidence as a vocalist, really like leading the whole song through that track. And like many Mastodon records do, it opens up on a sludgy, heavy one with Sultan's Curse. But for me, this was like, since this was like during the era of when I was doing album reviews, I was like combing over every aspect of this record. And with every little bit of this record, like I like the backstory of it. I like the concept record they have of it with the Emperor of Sand being a metaphor for dealing with cancer, with all the band members, like had multiple members of the band had family members or loved ones that were dealing with cancer and dealing with like basically the slow march of time, like taking people away from us as being like part of the theme of the record. And it's also, they were able to convey that emotion to a lot of the songs as well, where I'm not the most like emotional guy ever, but they were able to
Sorry. I just know Donte really well.
Yeah.
So it's funny to hear him say that.
I had an ex-girlfriend nickname me the Terminator because of my...
Sorry. Again, knowing Donte super personally, it's hilarious.
Because of my lack of showing emotion very well.
Well, not hilarious. I love you, Donte. You're allowed to show more emotion.
I'm not trying to hold back emotion per se. But what I will say is that there's a lot of like songs on here that like do elicit emotion. And one of the big ones on here is Roots Remain, where like it has very emotional chorus through like that Bron Daly delivers, as well as a powerful guitar solo done by lead guitarist Brent Hines, which is just it's like one of those like classic. It's not like an 80s solo, but it's like very. There's a lot of like feeling and vibes like put out to it, where it's just very like it wrenches emotion out of you. Like you feel it. Like after going through the whole journey of the song, it has like the instruments drop out for a little bit before it goes to the swirling solo, which is just really powerful, emotional, and I love it so much. With that, it still has like very punchy, powerful, heavy songs like Sultan's Curse, with like Precious Stones, which is like a high energy banger, and like a Word to the Wise, and Andromeda, which is one of my favorite riffs that Mastodon's ever done, because that's just a banger. It's just, that's like, it just gets you hyped. Like this whole record is just fucking phenomenal. And I was always like kind of on the fence because it was one of the newer records in their discography. But this was, after having some like time away from it, giving listens to it over the years off and on, I realized just how great this record really is. And shows that even in this most recent history of Mastodon, they are bringing out some of the best music amongst their peers and really anyone else today. And so Emperor Sand is definitely like one that really should be considered a classic Mastodon record, even though it's only about 5-6 years old so far. It has a little bit of a lot of the best parts of the career and really showing them coming into their own confidently in this part of their discography. So my number 3 is Emperor of Sand. Getting to our top 2 records each. What is your number 2 here, David? I think I have a guess of what your number 2 is going to be, but let's hear what you got.
So, with my relationship with Mastodon, and this one, I kind of let go a little bit. I didn't think highly of it. Just thinking about the top 5 for a long time, but then I just went back and listened to it, and it's probably my most listened to Mastodon record. And it is Blood Mountain.
Blood Mountain.
Again, it's just like there was the recency bias that I probably had. There was some records, maybe the one you were just talking about, that I had. We're not on the omission part yet, but I had higher, and I was just I had a thought of what my top 5 was going to be, and I just was not putting this in my top 5.
Right.
And then I just fell back in love with it so goddamn hard. I even just kind of did a thing where I just went through the intros earlier, and every fucking intro, just it brought back the memory of being the kid listening to this shit.
At a very particular time of your life.
Yeah, and I will say, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying in the intro with Brian Daylor, I think this is his drumming pinnacle.
That's hard to disagree with. I'd say.
He is on fucking fire throughout this entire album. And I mean, I would start naming songs, but I could just pretty much name everyone on the album.
Really, it starts off with
the Wolf,
a drum clinic,
and he just fucking goes. He goes hard, and like I say, he doesn't really fucking stop. And it's the awe-inspiring performance that honestly carries it to this day for me of him on the drums. One of my favorite Mastodon songs of all time, and I've discussed this with you before, is Colony of Birchmen. And I've always loved it, but I mean, The Wolf is Loose, Crystal Skull, Sleeping Giant. I mean, I could literally just go through the entire fucking album. As soon as all the fucking intros of any of these songs start, I go back to that time, and I there was a time that I was talking about getting the fucking whatever the fuck you call this moose wolf pussy.
It rears its head, the moose pussy.
Yeah, there was a time I was actually talking about getting that tattooed on me.
That would be a cool tattoo.
I mean, and that's 2006, I'm 14. So when you're talking about the anticipated records, I came in on Leviathan. This is the follow-up.
So the hype was real.
Yeah, and like I said, that's what I'm saying. This probably ended up my most listened to, but it was just in recent times, I hadn't listened to it a lot. I just hadn't. So this one surged. This one surged past everything. Because when when we get on the omissions part, those 2 records are in my top 5. This one just, like I said, bypassed Once More Around the Sun. It almost fucking overtook the top spot. Because again, this recent listen, I kind of laid it to bed for a long time because I fucking wore it out so bad. But, and like I said, it's Brian Daylor's fucking performance on this entire record is so just otherworldly great. Again, if I was a drum teacher, this is in the curriculum, just straight up. He's got the best hands in metal, and this is the time that he really honestly just fucking proved it. Because I mean, as we say, after this record, you get the ambitious Crack the Sky, where I mean, he's great on every record. Don't get me fucking wrong, but you get that record that's this big, huge, open concept type thing, and then they enter their songwriting phase. He is just playing his fucking ass off here.
And just rapid fire.
Yeah, and
jazz style.
I can't say enough about this record now. Honestly wish I gave it more listens here recently just so I could go into details song to song. But like I said, I went through the fucking intros and I just today I just went through the intros and I just had a nostalgic kick then. But when I listened to it when we finally discussed, hey, we're going to do this episode for sure, it fucking went straight back up, and I was like, God damn, it's so good. So fucking good. And like I said, Colony of Birchmen, The Wolf is Loose, Crystal Skull, and even like the closer, Pendulous Skin. Some of my favorite songs in the entire discography. 12 songs, 50 minutes. It doesn't fucking drag either. And as much as I'm gushing over this one right now, I'm so stoked to get to number one. But I'll leave it at that. Because like I said, man, it's just Ron Taylor's fucking just on another goddamn level on this album. And it just... It's almost like watching a fucking athlete go off. It's like watching Kobe score 81. It's like watching Derrick Henry go for 250 and 4 touchdowns. Like,
Ron Taylor is a like freaking beast of a drummer. Yeah. He's my personal favorite drummer there is, essentially.
I just feel like this album is the one.
Yeah, it's definitely a showcase of like what he can do with skill wise. It definitely like has my favorite. I think I have to agree that it's probably my favorite Ron Taylor drum performance on this one. Because he's like Wolf is Loose is probably my favorite drum song of his. That and along with like Blood and Thunder was like a big song for a lot of people for him. But yeah, like he's always been one of my favorite drummers because like not only is his skill just ridiculous, but he's also in the metal sphere the most distinctive drummer. There's only so many drummers you can tell just from hearing them play who they are, because it's a little bit hard to be as distinctive with it. But yeah, like going on with the list, I'd say getting to the number 2 is like my number 2. Speaking of like albums and
speaking of albums that we've been talking about this whole time.
I didn't have a good transition there, but speaking of albums, like this number 2 record for me was one that for a long time, even after becoming a fan of Mastodon, I didn't give too many listens to because it was something that when I first got into them, I wasn't really had like the type of ear and mature enough to really appreciate it, I don't think. And after I started doing album reviewing, I started listening to more albums in full, which is something that I hadn't really done that much up to that point. But once I really started to appreciate the full album listen and started to like really learn the importance of like basically like the difference between listening to individual tracks, what that can give you, and listening to what an entire record, the full idea that an artist is trying to convey through their album to you. That was when I was really able to understand and appreciate this record for what it is. And that is their 2009 record, Crack the Sky. It was my number 2. With this one, for a long time, I didn't really listen to anything on this record except for Oblivion. It's the like lead single off the album, if I remember correctly. It's the track that is the most accessible. It's one of the most popular ones.
You know what? I think Divinations was on Brutal Legend, and that's why I was thinking about that one.
I think it is on Brutal Legend. I think that song is on there.
Because I love that song on that game. But yeah, that's why I was probably thinking, honestly, probably, because I played the fuck out of that game.
Absolutely. But yeah, like this is one album that like really, I don't listen to individual songs on this album too much. Yeah, Crack the Sky is an album that just makes you appreciate the full album listen. It's from front to back, because really I've been realizing this a lot with like a lot of albums when I review them, where individual songs from the records don't stand out as much to me as just listen to the thing in whole.
And this one's the big one in this entire discography, where it's like the context of the whole fucking thing matters.
Yeah, and even like there's an individual song here, like which is like a whole 4-part, multi-part thing in here with the Czar. Because the Czar is one track that, if I remember right, is like 14 minutes. Like different sections that all are part of the over-encompassing story. With the different sections, Usurper, Escape, Martyr, and freaking whatever the last section is, which I can't see currently. But yeah, this whole album, it's really spacey, it's really atmospheric, which really matches the elemental themes. Because like what they really do the elemental themes on these records really well. Because the for example, like the first record, Remission, had a theme of fire, and it's really intense, heavy riffs, in your face intensity, the intensity of fire. Their second record, Leviathan, was dealing with Moby Dick in the Sea, where it has all these real like fast flowing type of riffs that like have like gives you images of like being on the ocean, the rapidness, but also the beauty that's on the ocean as well. Blood Mountain has the elemental theme of earth and has all these like sludgy riffs, like really kind of like mountainous and all that stuff. But with this one, it's dealing with Aether, which is dealing with the spiritual realm. And this whole album has theme of like out of body experiences, hallucinations, time travel, traveling through space, meeting Satan, and being like transport. They were on a lot of drugs with this record, I'm assuming, because this whole like concept story they have behind this is just bonkers. But there's a lot of emotion behind it too, because it's a tribute to drummer Bron Daly's sister as well. I mentioned this already when we were talking about it before earlier when I mentioned
my number 4 record.
Well, his number 4 record, my number 2, which I thought this was going to be high on the list for you as well, but I think I guessed wrong possibly.
Well, I mean, we'll get into
the predictions. But yeah, this record front to back, it starts off with Oblivion, which is probably, for being a track that was a single, one of their like most interestingly composed tracks as well, where it has like multiple hooks on it. It utilizes like the multiple vocal setup really well. Has one of the strongest hooks to have it, with Brent Hines having a real strong chorus that he sings on that one. Divinations with the banjo style like guitar picking that's used for the intro, and actual banjo for the beginning that leads into the guitar stuff. Quintessence. This whole record is great. And speaking of Bron Daly drumming performances, Ghost of Corellia is one of his strongest efforts, I believe, as well. One of the standout performances he gives on this record, as well as this being the first. Well, this actually was the first record that he started singing on, which is also like a unique new element that the band added to their sound at the time. And
which it surprises me how long it took before they fully committed to that.
Yeah, I think this is the first record where they went on with like no screamy vocals at all.
I was say because they didn't really lean into it till like once more, like where he became like almost the most prominent singer almost.
Yeah, he mostly just does like Oblivion. He sings in the verses. And I think he has like some backing vocals for the rest of this record.
It surprised me that it took that long, A, to get him in that fold, and then B, how long it took him to just commit to like, hey, you're
the high note singing guy.
Yeah, which I mean, again, that's part of the beauty now is that progression happened. So like again, we were talking a lot about eras in here, and our history with the band matters a lot. Especially because of how I think the number ones are about to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, it's again, like I fucking love that record, man. And it is one of those ones. It's kind of there's the wall. Like everything's better in context. Because if you listen to a single, it's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, but you had to be sitting down, mentally prepared for like, I'm going to go on this journey with the band. And this album takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
Which this record is excellent. Obviously, I think so because it's my number 2 on my list. And this is what was an album that really added to my appreciation of just listening to full albums. It's one of the things that kind of makes me a little bit sad that people are more so leaning into just making random playlists, which I have random playlists myself. I do it all the time.
Oh, we're 100% guilty of. I mean, we're products of the time,
but also at the same time, this ease of access we have to music also makes it where you can listen to full albums really easily as well, and you can like really appreciate a full record from any artist and really get a better idea. It gives artists that put the focus on the full album listen a better chance to being discovered and enjoyed.
If you have the mentality, it's a beautiful time.
Yes.
The problem with society, as I shake my fist at the sky,
we live in a society,
is that we're in the TikTok age now, man. So, and
30 seconds is a lot of time to give
for those that follow me on Facebook. I was just literally shaking my fist at the clouds. the old Simpsons reference. Old man shakes
Old man
fist at
shakes
cloud.
fist at cloud.
I am Abe Simpson right now. But yeah, now like I said, as far as album experiences go, you really can't go wrong with Crack the Sky. You got any more on Crack?
I'd say
Got
that's
any more on Crack?
kind of more on Crack.
My bad.
Don't really have much more on Crack, but that is all on Crack the Sky.
So just for fun, because I'm 90.
We should probably recap our 5 through 2.
That, and I'm 99% sure that we both know what our number ones are.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I guessed yours number 1 pretty well.
So my number 5 was The Hunter. Your number 5 was...
My number 5 was Remission.
All right, and my number 4 was Crack the Sky. Your number 4 was...
My number 4 was the Hunter.
Okay, and then number 3 for you was...
Emperor of Sand.
And mine was Once More Around the Sun. I got Blood Mountain at 2.
And my number 2 is Crack the Sky.
And I'm just going to say that your number 1 is my number 3.
I forgot what your number 3 was already.
Once More Around the Sun.
Yes.
And what's your prediction for my number?
My prediction for your number 1 is that it is Leviathan.
And damn straight, Donte. Why is it not in your top 5? No.
We will get into that.
We will get into that. So, obviously, I gave all the pretty much the pretense on why this one fucking made an impact early. The number 1 thing that stands out for me when I listen to this record is musically, visually. In the way that I like to write myself, I like to visualize like it's like world building. There's no Mastodon record to me that sounds more like what the concept and the album cover is. Like when I'm hearing Sea Beast, I can see myself on a boat struggling to, fucking sail around this gigantic beast that's attacking me,
I am Joseph Merrick.
Well, dude, the closing track on that motherfucker, like I literally feel like I'm riding off into the sunset. Megalodon, I feel like I'm a goddamn whale traveling through the fucking ocean, man. Like, I see everything that this album is portraying. On top of that, just Sea Beast is actually probably my favorite Mastodon song. I probably shared that with my sister, honestly. But
Sea Beast.
But I mean, Blood and Thunder, you got Neil Fallon from Clutch on there. I mean, I Am Ahab's fucking awesome. Iron Tusk is awesome. Island fucking is awesome. Aqua Dementia, like the way that motherfucker starts, I could see being fucking fucked up in the head, dude. Like,
It does convey it with that like little like twangy guitar tone.
It's such. So, and this is gonna go into my nerddom a little bit. When I hear the classic Godzilla soundtracks, I can imagine exactly everything that's happening. Like, the Godzilla theme, I have no fucking issue imagining Godzilla rising out of the ocean.
Has that cinematic quality to it.
Yes, and I wouldn't say that this was their strongest concept record because we went into that on Crack the Sky, but it's hard.
This is really technically their first concept record.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to say that this isn't because for whatever reason it's just like I can just I can visualize all of it, and I think that's what. I mean, it's one of those things that's inspired me because again, like even with the Theories of the Apocalypse days, which if anybody's listening to this has any fucking idea, when I'm writing a song like Acid Lake, that's the kind of shit I'm thinking about. I world build it. Like I created this giant serpent at the bottom of the lake.
Lord Concrete and the Mother Tree.
While we're trying to go down to the bottom of this fucking lake to find the runes of eternal life. And yeah, same. I mean, Lord Concrete, the Mother Tree, Reborn in Rapture. Like everything that every lyric I'm writing, I kind of visualize like a scene with it. And they do it musically. Like, it's not even just lyrically. Like, musically, the musical themes of every fucking song is so visual to me. And like I said, again, the time that I come into them, I mean, I think that's probably a good 70% of it. But it's stood the test of time to me.
It's like your first love.
Well, but it's 100% still there. Like, I mean, there's other records that have fucking died off for me from that era. But this one, like, I see that whale, I see the ship, I see everything about it throughout the list. And that was the stark thing with me today. Because it was just like, I almost thought about putting Blood Mountain first. And to go back to the Ron Daler thing, this album is
another big
very
Ron Daler.
Fucking close behind.
Really, those first 3 records all together are all Ron Daler clinics.
Yeah, and I'll get on why that one's omitted too.
Yeah, Remission is an odd...
It was in my top 5 the entire time until today. But yeah, man, like I can't say enough about just the visual. Like I said, to me, it's John Williams soundtrack, Star Wars. I can see, you hear the fucking march, you see Vader and the fucking stormtroopers walking, you hear Duel of the Fates, you're seeing fucking Darth Maul and
having a theme connected to your characters.
And the fact they did it musically as hard as they did. Because like I said, it's one thing to lyrically write your concepts out. It's one thing to lyrically execute your concept. But like the fact that the music, to me, portrays it. And I've always been a music first guy. Like, I could give a rat's ass about lyrics 90% of the time. There's very few lyricists that truly impress me. And Mastodon's not a band until they got into their songwriting phase.
It was more of a focus.
That I even knew what half the lyrics fucking
were. Of course,
were.
when you're like singing the lyrics, it's easier to understand what they're saying, so it hits a little harder. You can more easily hear it.
But this era right here, I mean, like I said, man, Blood Mountain might honestly be a better record. It might be better performed. There might be more whatever, which, neither one of those are in your top 5.
Yeah, that's either one.
But I'll plead.
Told you there was going to be some controversy.
Well, I mean, no, but it's fine because, like I said, again, we're talking about a band that doesn't have really doesn't have many stinkers whatsoever.
But there is a clear worst gooders,
and we'll get to that. But and like I said, I don't mean to keep harping on this, but like I said, just the fact that just a band of dudes writing heavy metal music that's, I don't consider them scholars per se.
If you've seen any videos that they put out for anything,
yeah,
you know they are not scholars.
So just the fact that this record, from a musical standpoint, just so, like I said, it's very theatric in my head. And, whereas like classic vocalists like Ronnie James Dio could paint a picture with his voice and his lyrics, I think this is one of the pieces of art that just perfectly paints the fucking picture from a musical standpoint. And I think it's super fucking impressive. This is a modern equivalent to an Iron Maiden record. As far as just concept to art to just musically matching what the fuck you're trying to put out there. And like I said, Ron Daler, the Leviathan and Blood Mountain, he's just so fucking on fire. And those drum performances go a long way for me. Like I said, again, and I'm a sports guy. So like when I'm talking about a dude just on another fucking level as a drummer, those 2 records are so fucking beyond, I think, anything in their discography, front to back, that I can't not fucking gush over this record. Like I said, when I told you, I had the CD for like a year before I really actually listened to it. I saw them live at Ozfest and still didn't really listen to it. It took me probably about 6 months. And then the next time I saw them with Slayer, they fucking stole the night for me almost. So like I said, part 13, 14-year-old nostalgia, part the theatrics, part Brian Taylor's fucking phenomenal drumming. My favorite album art, I mean, you can just go in that far. like I said, I can't say enough about this record. I was gonna gush over it, especially since it's not your top 5. At least we share your number 1 in our list.
Yeah, my number 1 is in both of our lists.
So yeah, go ahead and talk about Once More Around the Sun, so I can berate you.
Well, Once More Around the Sun. All right, Once More Around the Sun is my number 1 Mastodon record. It came out around the time that I was first getting into the band, so that has part of it to do with it. But also, even now, What's Around the Sun has all the elements that I look for in a quality album front to back. It has track diversity. It has a mixture of like styles where it has like really melodic tracks and softer tracks while also having some heavy tracks in there to have like a basically different styles that keep you interested all the way throughout. And whenever I'm making albums or I'm giving like scores for my album reviews, one of the metrics that I give is like the lack of poor tracks, like tracks that you can't skip. And the fewer of those you have, the better the album tends to be overall. This is, I say, the one Mastodon album, aside from my number 2, I'd probably Crack the Sky, that there is no skippable tracks on. There's front to back, every single song was a banger. And when I re-listened to it earlier today, I was just making sure of that fact. Going like, all right, is there anything on here that is one that I don't really enjoy that much? That was a surprise, but I'm like, as weird and kind of dumb as that part is, it works for them. They have some stuff. And funny thing, we'll get into that when we get to the omissions. But like even the Aunt Lisa track has something unique that you wouldn't expect. It throws you for a loop when it get to it in the track list. I thought that my Spotify fucked up and went to another random artist when that came on because I totally forgot that was in there.
Every time that song comes on, I'm like, this isn't them. And then I'm like,
But this is when this is where you could tell that the band fully mastered the 3 vocalist setup. Each vocalist gets to shine at different parts of this record. Daler comes to his own on what's one of the most popular tracks now, The Motherlode, where he just it's one of his more simpler drum performances, but even that's still strong. He has this soaring vocal chorus.
It's probably his best vocal.
Yes, it's definitely. I'd say that it is the strongest vocal performance, and the hook is so instantly catchy. And intro track Tread Lightly has some powerful vocal harmonies between him and bassist Troy Sanders. It builds up really strongly. High Road has one of my favorite riffs they've ever done, with a quintessential sludge metal riff that just makes you want to go out and punch shit. And the music video for that, fuck, goddamn rastiness. Talk too much.
Like I said, the Wiener Rinse do you better than the Wiener Chug.
I'm not challenging this Wiener Rinse, so fuck you. But yeah, that's High Road is just a quality sludge metal track with another powerful vocal hook on it as well. With Daler talking about High Road,
which might be his second best vocal performance,
possibly because he's. I remember I tried to sing along to sing him how the fuck is he singing so goddamn high? Apparently, funny story I forgot to mention when you were talking about how they brought him into the fold vocally.
Which is hilarious that as the drummer in the band, you're like, Daler's vocal performances. And I'm over here like, Daler's drumming.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Daler's drumming is a big part of why I love this band so much.
I just feel like it's literally the difference in our...
Basically, I like singing drummers is a big thing. I like the combo. And with and Daler's the best combination of...
Them drummers better know their place. Get the drumming, motherfucker.
Because he's my favorite drummer and one of my favorite vocalists overall, as well.
Yeah, it surprised me once he started going, and it was like, fuck, dude. As I was saying earlier, it's well, I'm so surprised it took that long.
Apparently, I remember seeing in an interview they pushed him to be a vocalist on their albums after Brent Hines heard him singing along to King Diamond. And it was yo, we got to put that on an album.
Mm-hmm. Quit fucking around, bro.
That's essentially what Brent Hines said. Is quit fucking around. You're singing on this record. Because he was saying I'm a drummer. I can't sing. Fuck you mean you can't sing? The rest is history. Now he's singing on records and everybody lauds him for both his drumming and his vocal ability. But this whole album is just full of bangers front to back. Chimes at Midnight. Asleep in the Deep is one of my favorite tracks as well, with them having like the weird overlapping vocal hooks that they have in that one, and with the like spacey guitars and the builds and ups and downs of it all. Even Aunt Lisa with its weird child choir chanting shit that it has. Ember City, Hell Awaits, and Diamond in the Witch House is a powerful doomy closer that they have on this record. There's no weak points on this album. And
this one was firmly entrenched in my top 3. It was probably originally going to be number 2. And then, like I said, I just got that fucking nostalgia power when I hit Blood Mountain here recently.
Because, like, this is one I was flipping back and forth between with this and Crack the Sky for my number 1. Because like Crack the Sky...
See, that surprises me. I feel like this one, just for what I know about you, was firmly number 1.
This is because I
feel like you're lying to yourself.
I'm a sucker for big riffs and big hooks, big vocal hooks specifically. If you have the big chorus with big guitars behind it, I'm a sucker for that. I'm a whore for big riffs and whore for big riffs and big vocal hooks, and this has that in spades all throughout this entire record. The Motherlode is one of, like, every single year on Spotify at the end of the year. It's always one of my top played songs. Because it's on it every year. It's on.
It ends up as like the auto curated fucking playlist, and it's always on there, and I never skip it.
I've never like. There's never a bat. I'm never not wanting to hear the Motherlode at all.
Well, just all that ass
in the music video. I love that. Like they show like, hey, in case y'all forgot, we're from Atlanta, the stripper capital of the world.
Where I listen to Leviathan and see all that shit, hear the Motherlode, I'm just like,
On Leviathan, you're picturing like Moby Dick, and on this one, you're just thinking about putting your dick in some stripper ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like Once Around the Sun just has like, it's one of my favorite albums from anybody ever. And Mastodon, I will say, is probably my favorite band. And this is my favorite album from that band because it hits every sweet spot I want in a metal band.
I was saying, I didn't make that point with my number 1, but totally.
Yeah.
Leviathan's one of my favorite records of all time. So,
like, also, like, the album artwork is fucking insane. Like, if I'm ever high on psychedelics, please don't show me the album cover because I will freak the fuck out. Oh, dude,
it's wonderful. I went out of my way to look.
I have nightmares about that shit, but it's fuck. I do want a vinyl of it though because it's fucking amazing. The artist that did it is something else because that is something trippy out of this world. But yeah, Once Around the Sun by Mastodon, quality, more than quality. It's a top tier record, like front to back. I would give it 5 stars out of 5 if I were to do a retrospective ranking of it. Unsurprisingly, considering it's my number 1 album from favorite band. But yeah, I'd say that is each of our number 1s and our top 5s. And that brings us to the next section.
I'll say, what did we get right on each other's lists?
Oh yeah, our predictions that we had.
So I only had 1 missing out of yours.
Let's see. I had 2 on my predictions that were omissions.
See, I know you better than you know me.
Apparently, you surprised me a little bit on this one, I would say.
My number 5 for you was Blood Mountain. Really, I was just guessing at number 5.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, even for me, I had no fucking idea that number 5 was going to be where it ended up for me.
Yeah.
But I had Crack the Sky, The Hunter, Emperor Sand, and Once More. So, I mean, I had your albums. Just didn't quite, because me and you never really talked about Crack the Sky.
Yeah, we never talked about it because it's be honest, I don't listen to Crack the Sky that much, but when I do, it's an event when I'm listening to Crack the Sky.
So I put it in the same spot that I had in mind just because I was thinking, hey, we don't talk about it, but I feel like it has to be there.
It's just too good of an album to
So like I said, I got your number 1. Like I said, I had Emperor Sand number 2 and The Hunter 3 because I knew The Hunter's where you came in at. So I was
like whatever your first was, it's kind of like you losing your virginity to a band. Whatever your first tends to be a favorite.
Did I have your top 2 right, or am I tripping? Emperor Sand number 2 for you or no?
Emperor Sand was number 3.
What was number 2?
Number 2 was Crack the Sky.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So what'd you have for old Dave?
For old Dave, I had your number 5 is Emperor of Sand.
Okay. Again, I thought it was going to be up there.
Number 4, I honestly should have had this ranked higher for your number 4, Blood Mountain, because you talk about that record a lot.
Yeah.
So I should have had that high. I knew it was going to be on the list for sure. What the fuck's wrong with my throat? It's
Wiener rinse.
I knew it was going to be on there for sure, but I should have put it higher. Number 3 I had is Crack the Sky. Number 2 I put Remission, which I'm surprised wasn't on your list at all.
And it was almost that. It was probably that high.
Because I was thinking like this is the Rift City album. Like so I was thinking this is definitely going to be on it for sure.
I mean, do you want me to get into my omissions
Well,
first?
we'll get to that, but like I did guess your number 1 right,
Yeah.
Leviathan, which
I mean,
that was an easy one.
We knew each other pretty well enough that
we knew what our most favorite things are.
Yeah. So I mean, we are on the omission part now.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say we're on the omissions part now.
Okay, so
your 2 omissions were Remission and Emperor of Sand.
well, there's a third one, but
There's a third one.
We're gonna get to that.
We'll get to that.
And so when we're talking about the eras and what we love about the band and whatnot, again, the Hunter caught me by surprise. I had no fucking idea that I was going to like it as much as I did. And like I said, Blood Mountain, I kind of disregarded for some reason when I was thinking about these lists. Like, if it was in my top 5, I wasn't thinking number 2. And when I listened to Remission, like the first time around when we were about to do all this and then we didn't, Remission was high. But I mean, I gushed over it with you when we were talking about it. It fucking riffs.
It's a riffy boy.
Because like when you're talking about omissions with this band, it's like 5B and 5C more so than 6 and 7.
Yes, like they're not bad. We don't think that our omissions are bad records.
Yeah,
there's just like we feel have a lot of strength about the ones we do put in our top 5.
I just think that with where the band went, and even as soon as Leviathan, and then the progression to Blood Mountain, and then what their next progression was, and the fact that it was all fucking excellent, they're a band where their debut to me just lost weight. Like, it's great. It riffs, it goes, it's fucking heavy, it's beautifully fucking... I mean, it's an awesome record, but it just didn't do as much as anything else. Like, it had that one thing. It fucking riffs. It goes. But all the other aspects of Mastodon that I really fucking love just are a little lacking. So, like, when you have that bigger picture...
It was in too raw of a form before you really got it.
When you have that bigger picture view and the band doesn't really drop off, I had a really hard time. And like I said, probably would have put it that high... every year till now. Because again, the Hunter was, I shat on that record. The Hunter would have been my second least favorite record.
That was the first, I feel like that record was the first time a lot of longtime Mastodon fans started crapping on him.
Yeah. So I was caught by surprise. Emperor of Sand, I just feel like I lumped the 3 records together. The Hunter's the introduction to that.
Right.
Once More Around the Sun's your number 1.
Yes.
It's the pinnacle of that
It's
style.
where they started polishing that trajectory.
I just feel like it's like the Hunter is the glue from the era that I loved to the era that came. Once More Around the Sun's the pinnacle.
Yes.
Emperor of Sand just ends up the odd man out. Like, it's just not quite... And it might be a better record than the Hunter, but through my lenses, the transitional part of the Hunter makes the Hunter better for me. Because like I said, Emperor Sand, I don't feel like Emperor Sand went up, or like I said, it might be a better record. Like I said, I thought it was in my top 5, 100%. But like when I just found myself kind of getting bored. And not to say super bored. I just got, and it was maybe after listening to Once More and Blood Mountain and all these other records again. When I got to a certain point of Emperor Sand, I just was like, man, this isn't as strong as Once More Around the Sun. And I'm just so much more partial to that era. That's why Blood Mountain's 2, Leviathan's number 1. It's like that sweet spot for me is just the pinnacle.
It's not kind of wild because, like, with Emperor Sand, I felt like like they already polished their new direction with Once More, and I felt like they were just like further expressing their confidence with Emperor of Sand because, like, that one.
I don't disagree with that statement. I don't disagree with that statement at all. But I just feel like how strong Once More Around the Sun was that
pretty much something that wasn't as good or better was going to feel like a letdown.
Yeah. And like I said, the Hunter surprised me. I was not expecting the Hunter to grab me this time around.
Yeah. I'm saying
this time around the sun.
Like, that's kind of why I put Emperor Sand as your number 5, because I thought that was going to be like your record. That
it was solidly there. And it's a really good fucking record. And like I said, Show Yourselves, so fucking good.
Show Yourself is a good, catchy song right from the beginning.
But like I said, I was just, when you're talking about the eras and the era that I'm partial to, it just kind of ended up odd man out. It's the same thing that it's got the same thing with Remission for the eras. If you put Remission in the first 3, I feel like that progression 1, 2, 3, it's just that ends up the weakest. I feel like it kind of
we're like growing in strength from their debut onward.
Yeah, I don't feel like because like Blood Mountain drops from fucking Leviathan to me a little bit, but I mean, like I said, even Blood Mountain was considered almost number 1. This was a really hard fucking list. Like, I did not have an easy time making a top 5 because, like I said, those 2 omissions were so fucking good. But yeah, like I said, I just feel like Emperor Sand was Once More Around the Sun light, and it didn't endear to me as much as it could.
That makes sense, I'd say. Where they
whereas revisiting the Hunter was like, oh, like this shit's rubbing and like they're going in that direction.
It's twobbling your knobs just in the right way.
Yeah. It's like they got better at the style that they were going towards, but it's just the rub in the Hunter ended up putting the Hunter at 5 for me. This is just the past meeting the fucking future.
The transition period where they still had a little bit of their...
Which, like I said, in my life was not good. Now looking back on it, I'm like, man, that's a good fucking record. So, like I said, had a real hard time. And those 2 records were in my top 5. Like, almost the entire time. It was literally these last listens where I was like, fuck. Like, Blood Mountain just shot way up the list. Honestly, Crack the Sky I kind of fucking disregarded too for the reasons I was saying. Because I think it just might have been too much to chew at the time. Because I was into the band.
I was the same way. Because like for a long time, I didn't listen to Crack the Sky really at all. Because it wasn't instantly.
Crack the Sky being elevated, Blood Mountain shooting up to the top, and then the Hunter having that rub. Remission and fucking Emperor Sand just didn't quite make it. And like I said, it's 5, B, and C. It's not really 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one's 8.
It's firmly in the 8 column.
So, speak on your terrible omissions.
Well, before
the only reason I can talk shit because it's my number 1 and 2. So
yeah, and like before we get to our mutually agreed firm number 8, I knew this was going to be a point of contention that I was going to get shit for. With
well, and again, it's hard to argue.
Yeah,
the band's so fucking good.
That was always good stuff. Like I'd say, like part of it does lie with where I got into the band.
If it was another band, I'd probably argue a lot harder. Is all I'm gonna say.
Well, also, like neither one. First, I want to start off with saying like I don't think either one of these albums are bad. Of course, these are still great. Both are great albums, and I listen to specific songs from both of these albums a lot. Still, of course, Blood and Thunder. I've never tired of hearing Blood and Thunder at all, anytime.
Dude, the fucking dual guitar part in the middle is like one of my.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite just Mastodon parts.
It's just like perfection, like blah.
For whatever reason, that like if I was just like think of a Mastodon part, the
it's so right.
It's that dual guitar, just perfection.
And same goes for Blood Mountain, because that one, of course, Wolf is Loose. One of my favorite drum songs I've heard of anything that I love all the time, and Colony Birchwood as well, which just has like it's just a progressive metal. It's that accessible form of progressive metal where it's like it has the like technicality and like unique song structure version of it, but it's also immediate, where like you don't it's not one you have to like sit and get into. It has a slow build and all that a lot of progressive metal has. The thing with these two records, though, with me, is that this is where you tell they were really first starting trying to experiment with the sound more and expand on it. And they didn't quite have something that I look for and enjoy in a lot of stuff is like the vocal ability yet to really like carry it through a lot of it.
See, and that just explains it all right there, because I already said I could give a rat's.
That's about like vocal stuff.
Like, because to me, it's at the end of the day, it's riffs. I mean, and like I said, Ron Taylor's fucking performance on this too.
With like these first two records, of course, like Remission, that wound up being in like my top 5 because that one is just the full focus is riffs.
See, that's where I have a real contention with you. It's like you're gonna put that one ahead of those two, just because of the progression of the band. But
they did progress in like where they took the sound. Like there's the Blood Mountain and Leviathan are both much more unique records than Remission is for sure. And expanded this music into new territories. A lot of media outlets consider Leviathan the greatest metal album of the 21st century. It's won that award from multiple outlets. Metal Sucks and some other ones have also given Leviathan that award. And Leviathan, for me, I actually put that as my second least favorite Mastodon record, actually, ahead of our number 8, which we'll get to. Because the thing with that is, like, Blood Mountain, I feel like, had that progression from Leviathan, where Blood Mountain is in that category of album listen to me. Of course, it has, like, the strong singles in Colony Birchman and Wolf is Loose. And also has other strong, like, points in there, like Blade Catcher and other songs on there. But that's one that overall I have to sit down for an album listen to really enjoy, and has some really unique parts on that one. And it also... But that one also has like one of my least favorite songs on it. And I wish I wrote down which one it is, but it's the one that has, it sounds like a tape being played backwards.
Hold on 2 seconds. I know which one you're talking about. I'm the other way around, because I'm in love with just the fucking weirdness of it.
It's like, it was like an interesting idea. Every time I hear it, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Because it starts off like the and then it like breaks into it.
I'm like, what the hell's going on in this thing? I do like Capillary and Crest a lot from this one as well.
Is that Blade Catcher?
It might be
Maybe.
Blade Catcher.
I know which one you're talking about. I just can't fucking...
But this one has like a lot of like... It has a lot... Basically, this why I like it as a good album listen, because it has a lot of weird and interesting guitar experiments that they do with this one. Where like they kind of like... You can tell they're really just like throwing everything at the wall and trying to see...
Which goes to what I was saying, like when I went through the intros.
Yeah.
And every intro is so distinct.
They know how to start a song and grab your attention with the track. But that one, but also, like, of course, that is a great record. I do like that one for album listens. With Leviathan, of course, it has some of the greatest songs of their career. Blood and Thunder being their most popular song still after all these years. Of course, Iron Tusk is another big one for a lot of people. Alka Dementia is another standout for me because I do like, it definitely conveys that like insanity, basically going crazy at sea, that with their guitar work that they have with that one. But I feel like overall, I feel like some of the distinctiveness between each one of the tracks kind of is like a little bit lost on this one. And I feel like during the latter half of the record, there's a little bit of a lull during part of it. I forget during which songs that happens with.
Yeah, see, I have a hard time agreeing with you on that.
Yeah.
Because, again, I go back to just the movie aspect. I can visualize this record front to, like...
I feel like as far as...
Without any lyrical or vocal cue, I could just see a story playing out. Whether it's the exact story they're wanting to play out.
But it's like, something I might play. I play part of this is I actually heard of another band recently that also does nautical themes. Ahab. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they just came out with a new record about like a week or two ago called The Coral Tombs, which is about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. They are all about like have a nautical theme for their whole career. And I feel like given Mastodon does a good job with the whole nautical theme with this record, but that one hit me so hard with like their Funeral Doom, and it's that whole like being the terror and horror of being at sea to a very high degree. I feel like they do the cinematic thing even more strongly than this record does.
All I ask of you is just after this conversation where I've told you my piece on it, is just listen to her again.
I've listened to it a lot.
I mean, I got you. But just with what... Because like I said, there's not a lot of records that pull off the concept musically like that. And I get your pointing out an example that you think, but if you're talking about that band, what year did they start?
They started they've been around for a while. Ahab's like one of the leaders in the Funeral Doom side of things.
Oh, yeah, okay, but you're talking about Funeral Doom.
Their first record that's on Spotify came out in 2006 called The Wretched Seas.
But you're talking about a very niche genre there, too.
Gosh.
All I'm saying, and I will argue this one, just because. Sorry, excuse me. I got my own issues over here.
Oh God, we're some funny boys. It is January and phlegm is everywhere.
Well, it's January and nothing's died in Kentucky, so allergies are still kicking my ass. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh man.
But I don't know. Me and you've never actually listened to this record together.
I don't think we have we not.
I don't believe so.
We might have done it on a tour trip.
I don't remember bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
And again, I'm not trying to convince it of your number one. I'm just the fact that it's that fucking low on your list. Just it's.
I thought it was weird because like I never realized for a long time. I never realized how low it was on my list until we were talking about doing this album ranking.
Well, and there was a conversation between you and Anthony where I told y'all to shut the fuck up because we were talking about doing this, and then y'all started talking, and I was like, God damn it! Like I already kind of have a tip. Now I was hoping it'd be in your top 5 somewhere. And again, I'm not mad because, like I said, the whole discography is so fucking good.
Yeah, I think that might have been part of why. And like, when I've heard heard the name Mastodon ever since I first got into metal in my teen years. Because like when this came out, it was 2004. I was a freshman in high school, so I would have been like the ripe age of this. I went down the metalcore route, like more so than like the traditional metal route that this was really leaning towards. But yeah, it was one that, of course, I didn't have friends that were into like the cool hype metal shit at the time to really get me into it. But yeah, like it was a while until I got into their more accessible, radio friendly, quote unquote, stuff came out that I started really getting into the band. And when I went back to try to listen to this after I realized this is like the lauded album and considered one of the best albums of recent history, it was one that I kept trying to go back and listen to.
See, that might be the issue too. Is you got the hype train.
I did get the hype train. The hype train hit because I heard the hype train because I was like looking at like different metal website news articles like best albums since 2000 so far, and this is number one on all of them. Like Leviathan is the number one on everybody's list. That's like that makes a list. If it's not number one, it's top 3.
Well, it's not my number one. It's probably another album with a whale on it, but which is very fucking ironic in a way.
Oh man. Yes.
Yeah.
I just realized what you're talking. I've noticed you just like whales.
Had no idea, but here we are. But yeah, I won't beat you in the ground too much over this because again, like I said, I would just say that 90% of it is me coming in when that shit's coming out, and you coming in where the other shit's coming out.
Yeah, I was like, I came into the band at the peak period of their like Mastodon 2.0, and you came in when they were just really getting established with like the sound they were originally known.
I mean, that's really coming into their fucking own. Because, like I said, like, with Remission, I mean, it's a fucking
it's a banger.
It's a motherfucker. But
also, like, I feel like with Leviathan, like a lot of people grabbed onto that because they had the hype for Remission, and then they delivered with the second record so well and expanded upon that as well. And having a banger track to anchor everything, funny nautical themes. The Edgar thing with Blood and Thunder really just hit things because they had like that accessible track to hit people with, and then they had a full album of strong tracks to like really keep people there, and had a lot for people to dig into with the concept record idea behind it, the Moby Dick theme, and have it be something that people could obsess over and peel the layers back on. And really, and not to mention like the performances are all excellent on this thing as well, of course, too, because it has riffs. Brondale is a drum beast, and there's a lot to dig into. And they also didn't really sound like any other band at the time, or really still now, no one sounds like them.
Well, and especially at the time, because you're talking about the new wave of American heavy metal.
Yeah, it was all like the thrash revival, metalcore,
and when you're talking about Lamb of God, Killswitch, Shadows Fall, and all those bands that really kind of truly were the flag bearers, God forbid, yada yada, that are like pushing this new musical style forward. Like, they were kind of an odd band that transcended all of that.
Yeah, really like this whole sludge metal style supposed to be an underground genre
band I was talking about, but
yeah.
But that's what's even better about it is they broke through at a time where everything was pretty fucking similar. Like they
weren't a band that was focusing on like the sing scream choruses and the hooks or big breakdowns.
No, because that Ozfest I went to, I mean, you had like some death metal bands and stuff like that, and some like the symphonic, or not symphonic, but melodic metalcore. Like Soilwork was on that motherfucker. Arch Enemy was on that motherfucker. Like, and then like bands like It Dies Today and Bury Your Dead. Like they stood out on that lineup immensely. Killswitch was on that lineup. In Flames was on that lineup. Shadows Fall was on that lineup.
A whole lot of like that new wave of American heavy metal like scene, and the
and then even like the new metal bands that broke to another level because
like Slipknot was still
and then Lost and Found by Mudvayne was coming out around that time.
Yeah, that was 2004, so yeah, that would have been same year.
So everything coming out around that time, Mastodon doesn't really fucking fit in, but they kind of surpassed all that. They're
really like, it kind of proves that if your music is just that, if it's that undeniable level of quality, you're gonna stand out.
Yeah,
even. Like bases like, does this have loud guitars? Yeah, good.
And for me, just the final argument for Leviathan, that is the establishing factor. Like, that's the record.
Nothing sounds like it. That is something that's true.
The record that pushed them to the trajectory through everything else. So, I mean, when you're talking about that in 2004, I mean, you've talked about that year a lot. That'll probably be a podcast episode, honestly.
That would be funny that would be a good episode, because I was thinking about making a YouTube video about the year 2004 in music.
2004 was a very pivotal year in metal, and this record is one of the pivotal. I mean, as you said,
there's so much that year
with
really.
the decorating.
We'll have to have a podcast that could be like at some point in the future do like a 2004 year in music podcast.
So
that goes to
time to get to the negativity.
The negativity of shared negativity that we both. This is rare, I think, that we'll both have a shared worst. Basically, the dud.
And sorry for all my snorting. My nose just decided to keep dripping here in the last 20 minutes. So.
Right. Yeah, but the dud record of the discography for both of us in here would be their latest record that they just came out with in 2021. I think it came out.
Yep.
Titled Hushed and Grim, the double album that they released. Do you want to go first, or should I go first with this one?
I will say there's not a lot to say, and that's the biggest problem. It's long. It doesn't really take you on a journey, musically or lyrically. There's nothing like inherently bad about it, but what is there to grab you? Because like I remember I got about 5 or 6 because I listened to it here in the past few days when we decided, all right, we're gonna do the episode. I was like, all right, is this bona fide my least favorite? I got like 5 or 6 songs in. I was like, yeah, and then I looked at the runtime and I was just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, the
runtime's like what 120,
126.
It
is a double album.
We're in the TikTok era, and we're talking about a bunch of long records as it is.
They usually average all about 50 minutes,
which
is.
Yeah, they put out long records as it is, and then you just put out a longer record, but there's just not enough. There's no, I mean, I don't feel like there's any of the diversity. I don't get any of the visualization that I get from a lot of the other
albums. This is also my least favorite album cover of
that's what I was going to say. The album cover doesn't even fucking inspire.
It's gray and bland.
Which, I mean, hushed and grim. I mean, it matches the name.
Yes.
But
I actually don't even know what the concept story behind. I know I've read it before, but whatever it's supposed to be did not stick with me where I could remember it.
Yeah,
I remember freaking Crack the Sky, astral projection, going into the past to find Rasputin and kill the Tsar shit. I remember that, but I don't remember anything from the story of Hushed and Grim.
I mean, yeah, I just want to be hushed and grim about this record. I don't want to be, I don't want to be too mean on it. Because, again, it's not offensively bad.
There actually, when I re-listened to this record, I was realized there was parts of it that I enjoy more than I thought. When I first went back to listen to it, the first 4 or 5 songs actually have a lot of enjoyable parts to it. I remember, though, when this record was first being teased and first coming out, I remember the singles not grabbing me and making me a little bit worried when the first singles, because the first singles that came out, the very first single was Pushing the Tides. And this one was one that has it's very simple by Mastodon standards. But Mastodon has done simple before. They had the Show Yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and even the Motherload, at the end of the day,
Motherload's a very
their era of songwriting is a lot simpler.
Really, this is kind of like Motherload-esque in composition, but not anywhere near as complex. It doesn't have the big guitar solo at the end. It doesn't have as soaring of a chorus. It does have a soaring chorus from Daler again, but it's hooky enough, but it's something that it's like a watered down version of what they normally do.
Everything this record offers has been done way better.
Because it has some nondescript verse vocals from Troy Sanders, and then it goes to the chorus with Daler on it. Nobody's playing anything technically complex or all that interesting, and it didn't really stand out that much. The second single that got released was Sickle and Peace, the third track from the record. That has a very awkward composition where it feels like the chorus is tacked on just for the fact of having a chorus. And the chorus itself isn't that great either as well, which was disheartening. And then the one legit song that I do listen to all the time from this record is Tear Drinker. That is a good song. Tear Drinker does hit.
Which, as I just pulled it up, their Spotify Top 5 is one song from 5 different records.
Yes.
Which, again, just speaks to the strength of the entire discography.
Yeah,
because not many bands can say that.
Usually, most bands have it's usually one of their early records. Whatever.
I mean, the greatest bands of all time. I mean, they are going to have multiple. Yeah, there's just not many bands that can say our 5 most listened to stream songs
are all from a different record each. And even with you had newer records, all had stuff. Show Yourself from Emperor Sand, Oblivion from Crack the Sky is on there, the Motherload from Once More Around the Sun, and even on the newest record, Teardrink.
I say if you look at the top 20, it's probably 2 or 3 off everything.
Yeah,
so
they have a good mixture across their whole discography of what their favorite tracks are amongst their fans.
Which goes back to what we're kind of talking about with just Crack the Sky in general, but I would say most of these records are record experiences. And again, that's just the fucking sign of a great band. But yeah, the ultimate dud. Hushed and Grim.
The number 6 is Iron Tusk. Number 7, Steam Breather from Emperor Sand. So it's still switching albums.
Yeah.
Still. More Than I Could Chew is actually their next one from the newest record. That's surprising.
This might just be the newness.
And then High Road from Once Around the Sun.
Yeah.
And then it goes to I Am Ahab back to so it keeps switching records throughout their top 10. So it's staggered throughout their whole discography that they have there.
And I would think that if you ask 100 people their top 5 Mastodon records,
you're going to get different results.
Yeah,
all the time.
Which is something I say about the band Death all the time. That it's just the sure sign of a great band. If you ask somebody their top 5, and it's always a alter top 5 or whatever, there's something there. There's a lot there. So like I said, we've gushed over them.
Yeah, I feel like if Hush and Grim was trimmed down to be a single album, turned down to be like a one album, 50 or so minute release, we wouldn't have the lack of enthusiasm for this record that we currently do. I feel like it would be viewed in a better light.
Yeah, if they trimmed the fat and they definitely like made it the best of what was there, it could probably be held in higher regard.
Yeah, because not to mention, like, there's so much to chew over with, like, this. Funny enough to have a song called More Than I Can Chew on this record. It'd be better if they
You're a fucking wordsmith.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it would make it where people would focus on the shorter amount of songs more and would allow people to enjoy them better. Because that would be a better way to enjoy the best songs of this record. So I'd say we still have the final grade for the overall discography of Mastodon.
And we're doing this high school style. So.
High school style with the overall grade. So what grade, high school style, would you give the Mastodon discography?
It's not perfect. And the newest record is like the biggest example of that. The debut, with how my list ends up, it's not as strong as a lot of debuts, in my opinion. All day I was saying A. I'll actually drop it down to an A-. Which, again, you're getting into college, but it's hard. It's hard to even say A-. But I just feel like if I put it at an A+, then where do you go from here? And I definitely have bands I like more.
Yeah.
This is just the mutual one that we love pretty fucking great. So I drop it down to A- just because we got to go from somewhere. So I can't give it a perfect score. A seems still a little like for me to not like Hush and Grim as much as I don't like Hush and Grim, and for kind of how I feel about Remission after I really kind of broke it down. It's still a fucking great record, but like when you put Hush and Grim as a D and maybe like Remission is like a B- personally, you bring the average down when there's a lot of A and A+ there. So I'll give it an A-. And like I said, we might grade these on a curve as we go.
Possibly.
But A- for the first episode.
I will say that for my grade, I actually also will give it an A-. Like I said, Mastodon is my favorite band. I would gladly give it an A+, if not for Hush and Grim. Because Hush and Grim does bring that average down.
It's so damn long, it's like 2 records of bad.
Yeah, it is a double album, which brings it down to 2 records of bad. And it's the first disappointing album, really, that I'd say either of us had really as like our more mature selves as far as like music listeners. But yeah, I'd say A- from both of us.
I mean,
maybe Haystack.
We've never talked bad about any Mastodon record. So the fact that we're talking bad about any of them,
this is the one. So if you have like one bad album amongst 8 over a 23-year career, I'd say you've done pretty well.
Like I said, that's why you're going to you're getting into college. You might not be going to Yale.
Oh, they go to Yale, but you go to college. All right. So, yeah, that is our grade for Mastodon's overall discography, which leaves, what should we do for our next episode? We each picked 3 bands, put them into a hat with little slots of paper on them. David's shuffling them around right now.
And by all means, y'all, leave your comments, leave your fucking suggestions.
Because we do this for you.
Drop them in our inbox. You know us personally. A lot of y'all do.
If there's enough of an outcry for a specific band for us to do, we shall do that eventually.
Or we can at least throw them in the hat.
Yeah, we can throw them in the hat as well. Like, have them mixed in.
But please, over 5 records, obviously.
Yes, like, please, a band that has at least 5 albums minimum.
And know that if they're on the classic variety, we'll get to them.
Yes, because the classic bands have a lot of albums to comb through. We're familiar with a lot of classic bands of note, but it would take some while to do some research to really refresh on where we would rank their records at. So I believe that leaves, what what band should we pick for the next one? Dave's picking hat. And what is the band going to be?
My oof. It feels so good.
He's shoveling. That is my hat he's doing this in. Makes it even a little bit I feel like he's gonna like nut in his hat, nut in my hat. Yeah, this is my favorite hat too, by the way. This is my Doom hat.
It's my handwriting.
It's your handwriting. All right. What is you picked one of your own. What do we have for the next episode, Mr. Langley?
They're gonna fuck you up.
Oh joy. What I have no idea what this is gonna be.
Oh well, you should. Municipal waste is gonna fuck you up.
Municipal waste. Okay.
Which
I should have guessed that was going to be one you might pick.
As a victory for me, I get to do one of my other favorite bands.
Yes, another favorite. That's going to be one. I also am a fan of Municipal Waste. I have not listened to their entire discography yet. I'm mostly familiar with, of course, The Art of Partying and their two most recent records.
I'll suggest just keeping the rest of these handy.
Yeah, because we'll put those back.
I think we made good content. I like all three of mine. One of mine was one I wanted to dive deeper into, but for me personally, this one's going to be fairly easy.
Mine are ones that I know that you're familiar with,
and there might not be as much to say because it's municipal waste.
It's municipal waste. Like I don't know how deep into the descriptions I can get with municipal waste.
But hey, fuck it, we'll get a quicker episode out of it.
We possibly can because this one is going over the 2-hour mark now, where we currently are.
So. Yeah, let's wrap that fucking shit up, man.
Next episode of Album Ranking with the Heavy Haystack
Municipal Waste
is
gonna fuck you up.
Municipal Waste, the Richmond, Virginia Thrashers revivalists of note. So with that said, let us know what you thought of the episode. Drop an email, drop a comment onto one of the Heavy Haystack socials. And if you want to have your music played on one of the regular episodes of the Heavy Haystack podcast, just send an email to theheavyhaystack@gmail.com. Make sure that you give the podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts at. And make sure that you tune back in with us as well. This should have another episode up in a week, whether it be an album ranking episode or if it's some usual news and singles review episode. We shall let you know that you'll know that within another week. Trying to get these all out weekly. Been doing good about that. That's been a New Year's resolution for me personally, to get a podcast episode out per week. And I feel like having David here has definitely strengthened the quality of these podcasts as well, I would say.
Shit. Nobody compliments me, so thank you.
I'd say that they're much more interesting. Well, the last episode proved that, hey, people want to listen more when you got two motherfuckers talking on it, and you title an episode Wiener Choke as well. So, I don't know, I forget how many listens. But, let's say that's about it for this episode of the Heavy Haystack Podcast. I'm Donte, that is David Andrew Langley over there.
And our opinions absolutely fucking suck.
Our opinions suck, fuck us, but listen to us, but fuck us. So, with that said, peace, love, music, and we shall see you all next time.
Deuces!